This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Welcome to episode 325 of This is the G Podcast. We're your weekly recap podcast with news, politics, pop culture, and the tea with Tanya B. Tanya B is celebrating her birthday this week, so she's off. Hitman Howie is back with his knockout takes. Man, we talk about Georgia's gubernatorial race, the Democratic Socialist Movement, Stephen A. Smith in crisis, and actor David Oyelowo in some hot water over some comments. We'll talk about it. Let's get started. Here's news with Syracuse Mike.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
60 days after the U.S. and Iran agreed to pursue a broader peace deal, there's still no clear path to ending the 24-week war. The U.S. and Iran are not in direct talks, and President Trump is threatening to bomb Oman if it blocks efforts to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Which is interesting because the president continues to insist the strait is open. But oil prices indicate that's not the case. With gas prices over $4 per gallon on average in the U.S., House Speaker Mike Johnson says,
"We had to act. Iran was on the verge of having nuclear capability. The largest state sponsor of terrorism could not be allowed to do that."
President Trump is ordering the Pentagon to scale back planned U.S.-South Korea military exercises, saying the drills are too costly and send a hostile signal to North Korea. Mr. Trump cited his relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. The 11-day exercises involve about 18,000 South Korean troops and are designed to boost readiness against North Korean threats. Of note, this decision comes after South Korea refused to help the U.S. in its efforts against Iran. The parents of 18-year-old Nolan Wells are still seeking answers more than a month after their son went missing and was found dead in Mississippi's Horn Island. Wells' parents appeared at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Atlanta last week with Reverend Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump. Christine Wansley is Wells' mother. She thanked black journalists for keeping her son's case in the news, but she says she's come under attack for being her son's advocate.
These attacks are not going to, it's not going to break me.
Wansley added,
"We have to find out what happened to Nolan. That is the only question we've ever asked. We've never blamed anyone."
An official autopsy is complete, but its findings remain sealed pending a grand jury review. An independent autopsy found Nolan Wells' cause and manner of death undetermined. Actress Hayden Panettiere has died at the age of 36. Panettiere was a former child star who became widely known as the super-powered cheerleader Claire Bennett on the TV series Heroes, and as country singer Juliet Barnes on Nashville. She also appeared in Remember the Titans and the Scream films. She was found unresponsive Sunday in South Carolina. Her cause of death remains under investigation. The Tupac Shakur murder trial got underway this week in Las Vegas, and jury members in the trial of Dwayne Keefe D. Davis were shown graphic autopsy photos of Tupac. Some of Tupac's family members left the courtroom as the medical examiner described the gunshot wounds that killed him in 1996. Prosecutors also showed surveillance video of a fight involving Davis's nephew hours before Tupac was shot. Davis is accused of orchestrating the killing, but not pulling the trigger. He's pleaded not guilty and could face life in prison if convicted. President Trump is threatening Iran with what he calls the most crushing economic operation ever against any country. In a Truth Social post Wednesday, the president accused Tehran of failing to seize an opportunity for a deal, as talks aimed at ending the more than 5-month conflict remain deadlocked. And once again, Mr. Trump claims ships are traveling through the Strait of Hormuz.
Right now, the strait is open. A lot of boats are coming through. People aren't reporting that, and that may slow down a little bit at some point, but right now a lot of boats are coming through.
The nation's debt has topped $40 trillion for the first time. Treasury Department data shows the debt reached about $40.05 trillion Tuesday. That's more than double the level in 2017 as federal spending continues to outpace government revenue, forcing the U.S. to borrow even more.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 325 of This is the G Podcast. What's up, y'all? This is going to be a brief one, man. We are taking a short week, man. You know, Tanya B celebrating the birthday with her mom. So,
Didn't she have one of these last year?
Oh, yeah, it's the whole month.
Oh,
I think they just choose
Tanya
a week
B.
out of the month. So,
wow.
But it's really kind of the whole month. But, you know, happy birthday, Tanya B, and to your mom, Mama B. Yeah. So hey, we do news, politics, pop culture, and the tea. And this week, I just decided to bring Howie in and talk a little bit of politics. Not anything too extensive, but just the headlines and the stuff that really is rising to the top. How you doing, Howie? First and foremost, man.
Yeah,
How you doing,
I'm
bro?
doing great, man. I appreciate it. Thank you a lot. I'm doing good. Again, always thanks for the invitation, man. But I'm doing really well. Thank you.
Good, man. Thanks for jumping on. First and foremost, as you know, we are in Georgia. We're in the ATL area, and we are closely following the Georgia gubernatorial race. And Howie, I asked Howie, I said, man, what's your list? What's on your list? And this was at the top of his list. Why is this at the top of your list, by the way, Howie?
Well, a couple of things. I think this is an extremely important race. We haven't had a Democratic governor in the state of Georgia since the 70s. Maybe I shouldn't say the 70s. Barnes was, I think, the last one. Quite a while since we've had one. And we've never had an African-American, nor have we ever had a woman governor in the state of Georgia. Mm-hmm. And then more or equally important to that is I'm a little concerned about the DNC and the funding for the governor here in the state of Georgia, where there are some states where they are funding governor's races or Senate races as well, but don't seem like or haven't seen where they've put that much money into the governor's race here in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, well, it's going to be party funded versus self funded, and as you know, Rick Jackson has 80 plus million.
Yeah, he's a billionaire himself, and he's dumped at least $80 million of his own dollars into his race, right?
Yeah, and if you live in the Atlanta area, it's every 2 minutes. when it goes to a commercial break, it's guaranteed that you will see a Rick Jackson ad.
Exactly right.
And now they are definitely, as we expected, we knew they were going to attack Keisha Lance Bottoms, and definitely they are holding true to that. They are going hard, right? And I'm surprised they haven't gotten to the red carpet Keisha name yet, but I know it's coming because that's a name that she picked up last. I think definitely right around the COVID area, COVID time. So it's going to be interesting, man. I think she's still holding her own, though, Hitman, because I think she is still. I think she's still polling at the top. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think you and I should agree on this, that all the negative campaigning is not going to impact her loyal folks.
No. Yeah. What we call in the blue wall or the black belt counties, Henry, Rockdale, Douglas, of course, Fulton, DeKalb, Richmond, which is down in Augusta, and Savannah, Chatham County, and Columbus. Those guys are going to vote for Keisha. Okay,
so I'll ask you, man. You know how you've got the federal, whenever the presidential race is, these coalitions build, okay, toward the general election. Mm-hmm. Do you think that same concept will work on the state level when it comes down to, of course, the Fed? Nobody outside of the state can vote. We know that. Right. But just in terms of the kind of support that you see when you have these federal coalitions, do you think that will happen in the state of Georgia, considering what you got to really have in this state, because it is purplish, even though it's been red. Right. It has been purple with Warnock and Ossoff.
Right.
But because Ossoff's situation is so critical right now, do you think they can duplicate that or replicate that here in the state of Georgia?
Yeah, well, that's kind of been the conversation, is to say that they've campaigned together in some places. Yeah. But I haven't seen anything digital or television wise to say they're campaigning together. Now they've had some in-person campaigns together. Yeah. And hopefully you hope that Ossoff can drag her across because of the turnout for the Democratic Party. And that would be nice if that could happen. But when I say drag her across is if you kind of vote your ticket. If I'm going to vote for Ossoff, I want to vote the whole Democratic ticket. And then there'll be enough turnout to support Keisha in the governor's race. So you hope that happens, but I sure would like to see them kind of holding hands a little bit more on digital.
Whoa.
Well, not. I shouldn't. Maybe that's a bad take, but you know what I mean. I like them together more on television and in ads, where even on Instagram and Facebook, those ads even work for us because I'm getting a ton of ads like that. But I don't see that yet.
Okay, well, I'm sure it's coming. Coming.
And now, it could be that could be it.
To throw, just not to jump ahead. Well, let's go ahead and jump ahead, man. The Senate race. Ossoff is up against a guy with a ton of baggage.
Oh yes,
and it's coming out now. He is also as Jackson's being positioned as a Trump ally or MAGA, and of course that's going to work where we are in our area. But as I had to drive this week that took me into the rural areas of Georgia. And all I saw were Jackson signs,
right?
And of course, what's his name? The senator. Mike
Collins.
Mike Collins. Yeah, I saw Collins and Jackson in this area, in a couple of areas that I was in. So and again, you mentioned money. The DNC is really they've got no leadership. They're receiving a lot of criticism because they don't have as much money on hand as they've had in the past. And the way it's been explained from what I hear is that the fact that they're spending money, whereas in before with the other leadership, they held the money until it got closer to the race. According to the new leader of the DNC, we're spending money across the board where we can in the important races whenever it's necessary. So, you think that's a good strategy, man, for them to continue to do that, or?
Well, I don't know. Ken Martin, the leader of the DNC, he has some controversy all along. When he was voted in, there was some concerns about him. Not the whole party didn't go, didn't seem to want to bring him along, but he got in there.
And he threw a phone at somebody. Well, he hasn't really denied it. He's given the political answer.
Right.
We need to stay on course and blah, blah, blah. But apparently, you know how it is in an office environment like that, high pressure, we've been in sales. So
exactly right. And that's what they're saying.
Maybe make it right. It doesn't make it right, but go ahead.
Doesn't make it right. They're holding some of this money back for Keisha until October, just before the election. That could be what they're doing. But they are spending money in other races. In Ohio, they're spending money for the race up there. A couple other races they're spending money in. So I just don't know if they think Keisha can win it, or if they just prefer to, hopefully allow John Ossoff to bring her across. So do I like the idea? No, I think we need to be spending money, even if it's targeted ad money. They should be spending it right now, because some people, early voting starts October 13th.
Right. That's true. Wow.
You know what I mean? You got to make up your mind. You got to make up your mind, man.
That's amazing. We're almost in September right now.
Exactly. So they need to start getting some money. Maybe September be the day that they start spending some money. I don't know. But, people will make up their minds early, because for me, I live in a county where the lines get long and I don't want to stand in them.
Right. And I do believe the turnout's going to be huge.
And that favors the Democrats, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm going to play a clip, maybe a little bit long, but this is Hakeem Jeffries. And, of course, he's the minority leader of the House, Democrat. And this is what he had to say about the DSA? Is it the DSA? I got to get used to all these abbreviations, man.
Right.
But let me go ahead and play Hakeem, and I want to talk. And you and I talked about the primary, the progressives winning versus the traditional establishment. So let's go ahead and listen to Hakeem first.
Open borders. I do not support
Do Democratic Socialists belong in the Democratic Party, Leader Jeffries?
Well, what I can say is that I do not support defunding the police. I do not support open borders. I do not support abolishing the Senate. We're focused on actually solving problems that hardworking American taxpayers want us to solve, which is to lower the high cost of living in a situation where life is far too expensive in this country. That's the Democratic agenda. That's what House Democrats are fighting to achieve.
Do you think, though, that there is room in the Democratic Party under the tent of the Democratic Party for Democratic Socialists? Is it big enough?
Well, listen, I don't support the DSA agenda as has been articulated by the DSA itself. Now, you're going to have individual members who have been elected in Democratic primaries, and if they are elected in the general in November, will be part of the House Democratic Caucus. It's going to be a broad caucus. There will be progressives, there will be New Dems, there will be Blue Dogs. What I'm excited about are the candidates who are running to flip seats in November to deliver us a majority that pushes back against Donald Trump's extremism and moves the country in the right direction. That means us, House Democrats, lowering the high cost of living in areas like groceries and gas and, of course, housing, and fighting to make health care affordable for every single American, while at the same period of time pushing back against the corruption that has been unleashed on the American people and holding the crooks accountable beginning on day one in January of next year.
So Howie, first of all, what do you think of what he said?
I like Brother Hakeem, I do, but I like him from a distance, though. You know, because I think the thing, first of all, he shouldn't say anything that divides what the plan is. I think the plan is the same. How we get to the end may be different, but the goal is the very same. Lower cost, attack the mega crowd, challenge President Trump on all of that he's doing. And I think that's what I heard was a little bit of this divisiveness. I think, take, for example, Angie Nixon down in Florida. She said the very same thing. She's not supporting defunding the police. She's just saying she's for police reform, where dollars should be spent in the correct place and police should be held accountable when they break the law.
Yeah.
So when you say something so broadly like that, and one person or two people pick up on it and run with it, next thing you know, on the Fox News of the world, Newsmax of the world, they'll be saying, "Oh, they're divided. They don't want this. Listen to what Hakeem is saying." So he has to be careful when he put that stuff out into the air, and he needs to be having backdoor conversations about what the conversation should be when they talk in public.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you have a situation with the DSA getting as many votes as they have. By the way, a candidate was running who had the history of saying all the negative things he said and lost. You know, that candidate lost. I think people are voting in the DSA candidates who are reasonable.
Right.
You know, I thought the candidate in Michigan was excellent. I thought his campaign was what he was saying was excellent. I mean, he ran a great campaign. He did. And
Abdul El Said.
Yeah, he won. And I see, is that the way it's named? I know it's Abdul El Sayed.
Sayed, okay, that's how you said Sayed, yes.
Yeah, I think it may be Sayed. But bottom line is he ran a great campaign. He sounds like Obama. Funny, it's funny because his cadence, it sounds like you're listening to Obama.
Right.
But he's quick. He's a very, he has the ability, he comes back. Whenever Trump says something, whenever the Republicans say something, he has an excellent comeback. And I think you got to be ready to run that type of campaign. It's a different style of politics these days. You can't use the, I'm going to take the high ground and not respond. No, you have to respond. You have to. People expect you to say something and respond, or either defend your record or defend whatever these guys have to say, because they're never going to take the high ground. They're gonna go wherever they need to go to knock you out.
That's exactly right. It's a boxing match.
It is. And
you have to counter.
He seems like he's prepared for that, which I liked. So I agree with you, man. I don't like Jeffries. Okay. And the reason I don't like Jeffries is because he's all talk. Right. He has, he's a politician. He knows how to deliver a speech. He's got some cute analogies, when he's speaking. He knows how to speak to Brooklyn where he is. He's in that definitely that blue bubble that exists. But, you got to be able to get things done and make things happen. One of my biggest concerns with the Democrats right now is that they are reactionary.
Right.
And we don't need to be the reactionary party when it comes down to what's going on in the country right now. We need to take it to them. We need to be on offense. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, when you're losing, you can't be on defense.
Right.
You're losing you're losing. Okay, go on offense. And I'm just not sure if they're capable of it. I had my issues with Pelosi, but Pelosi eventually got stuff done. Mm-hmm. I don't trust Schumer anymore, and I don't trust Jeffries. I think Jeffries is too beholden in some cases. He's become too beholden, as is Schumer. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think they can go on the offensive when they need to.
Right.
The obvious stuff is obvious. I mean, we're definitely dealing with higher prices. We see that every day. Mm-hmm. And they say they're going to have it happen, make it happen on day one. But I remember what was going to happen on day one back in 2020 when we ran out to vote.
Right.
Remember that?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that coming either day one, because we've heard that too many times and nothing.
Too many times.
I mean, from both parties too, though.
From both parties.
Yes.
So you need to really instead of really saying, "Hey, we're going to lower prices on homes, food, and gas," do it. Have a plan. Say, this is what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. This is how we're going to lower gas. We're going to do this, this, this. This is how we're going to attack the housing issue. This, this, this. Because hey, Kamala Harris had a housing plan, if you recall. There were plans for all this, food cost, all this. So what's the plan?
Yeah, they need to get it out, because heard
what's going to happen is, as soon as they get in the office, there's going to be a big distraction.
Yes.
I'll let you go. I've said.
Oh no, you're exactly right, because that's the same thing with when Biden was in the Voters' Rights Act. Something came up, we couldn't get it across the line, and now we're suffering for it with the redrawing of the districts.
So if you win and you have the majority in the House and the Senate, do something. Damn.
Right away. Yeah. You should have a list of things that you check off. Yeah. We're gonna do this, and when they happen, check it off and show the people this is what we're doing.
And one of the biggest things that pissed me off, and I was really for this, and I typically don't. Well, I do in some cases, some policy issues. One of the biggest things that I felt that we should have done in 2020 when we had the majority was change the number. Reform the Supreme Court.
Oh yes, add that to the Supreme Court.
When we had the opportunity, we should have upped the number of justices on the Supreme Court. And Pelosi was against it, because Pelosi's attitude was, if we do it, then they're going to do it.
Right.
Look, hey, they're doing it now.
Anyway, right?
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying with the Supreme Court, but I'm saying other issues that are being used, executive orders are being used for things that that the Democrats, whoever's in power afterwards, can immediately change. But they take advantage of it the 4 to 8 years that they're in. So you just got to take advantage of it, and if it changes, or you just fight hard enough to stay in power. That's it.
But to your point, Mitch McConnell basically did that.
Yeah.
He didn't add, but he prevented President Obama from adding a person to the court at the end of his term. And then at the end of Trump's first term, he pushed one through in a matter of weeks.
Speaking of Mitch McConnell, where is he?
I don't know. They said Mitch went to a rehab. Yeah, right. They said Mitch went to a rehab. I don't know where Mitch is, man.
Man, Mitch ain't.
I just saw a clip where Mitch didn't even know how to vote, man. I just saw the clip a minute ago. Mitch didn't even know how to vote, man. They had to tell him what to do.
Mitch is in the upper room. Come on, man.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
You know he in the upper room, man.
Yeah, well, it's a shame that they're manipulating it so much, and these people not being represented. The people of Kentucky not being represented.
Bashir's already said he's already sent letters. He's requested phone calls. Ain't nobody heard nothing. How many months has it been?
I think it's been over 2.5 months.
Man,
easy. Yeah.
That's some Goodfellas, Sopranos.
Yeah, man.
Upper room right there.
Yeah. That's a shame, but it's really a shame for the American people, specifically people of Kentucky.
Let me change that. I'm not going to say the upper room, because we
don't. In Mitch's case.
Let me stop.
I hear you.
Let me stop, man. All right, hey, Stephen A. Smith. Let's get. You got anything else on politics, man?
Oh no, I'm good, man. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Hey, let's do this. I want to get your opinion. You know, I have a journalism degree. Okay, I have not always been a journalist, but I understand the principles of journalism. I'm going to play the NABJ's National Association of Black Journalists, their announcement about Stephen A. And let's come back on the other side. I want to go ahead and play it. Here we go.
Stephen A. Smith, sports analyst and political commentator. Smith has established a recurring public pattern of disparaging commentary directed at prominent black women across politics, sports, and media. Such commentary reinforces harmful narratives, undermines the fair and respectful representation of black women in public discourse, and stands in direct conflict with NABJ's long-standing commitment to accurate, responsible, and inclusive portrayals of black communities.
Now, as you know, here in Atlanta, as we tape, we're in the ATL, the NABJ held their convention. Mm-hmm. And I guess this was toward the end of the convention where they announced the Thumbs Down Award.
Right.
Like Tanya B does the Donkey Award.
Right.
And he got it. I mean, he was given the Thumbs Down Award based on what you just heard. Now, I've got thoughts, but I want to get your thoughts first on this, Hitman.
Well, I think Stephen A. has crossed over to that, manosphere community where they prop up men, and in their process of attempting to prop up men, they degrade women, and women of color happen to be number one on their list more times than not. Mm-hmm. And it's sad that here's a guy who has a mother who's African American, went to an HBCU where he was around African Americans, have made his bones on the back in Philadelphia of African Americans, and now he finds it so easy to disparage them. And when somebody else says something negative about him, calling him low IQ and things like that, he has nothing to say. But when it comes to women of color who I'm proud to be a son of, that he has these negative things to say about it. And this is really, really sad from an African-American male standpoint.
Yeah. Let me play his response, and I'll come back with my, I want to play his response. Now, here's the interesting thing. When he ran to media to respond, the two people he went to, Sean Hannity and Chris Cuomo. Now, that tells you something right away about, like you said, bro culture,
right?
The manosphere. Okay, so I want to go ahead and play his response, and then I'll come back on the other side. Here we go.
Because I think that, the organization has some issues. I mean, clearly it's amongst their leadership. This wasn't a decision that was reached by the collective board or what have you. You have a few people as members of the board that made a decision that, as far as I'm concerned, besmirched the entire organization. The NABJ has had its issues throughout the years, and we recognize that, and it's something that we've had challenges, and we fought, and the organization is supposedly in a better place. But you've got jealousy and issues of envy and things of that nature that have existed for far some time. But most importantly, the organization has had a strong political tilt. And if I was, as I said on my podcast today, I said if I had said this about a black conservative female, what would have been the issue? Nobody would have said anything. So this has been politicized, no doubt about that, because I'm an independent. I'm a registered independent. I believe in calling balls and strikes and being as fair as I possibly can. And as a result, you have people within our community that if I'm not parroting our speech, then they've got a problem with that, as if we're all one monolithic group of one monolithic thinking and we think alike. That is not the case.
Yeah, I, first of all, don't really view Stephen A. as a journalist.
Right.
Okay. He was a journalist when he was writing in Philadelphia. He was a sports writer. But he's become an entertainer.
Right.
Really, he's more of an entertainer than he is a journalist. That's one. The other thing is, I'm not a big fan of Stephen A., but not really for his political views because I don't take him seriously on the political side. Mm-hmm. I get pissed off at Stephen A. because he's so, how do you say it? He's so biased.
Exactly.
I can't watch him because, knowing I live in Atlanta, I'm never going to hear anything about the city of Atlanta. Even when the Bulldogs win the championship, they minimize it, Mm-hmm. He's so biased toward certain teams that on his show, there's no parity,
Right.
There's no, I don't want to say equal time because that's not something he truly has to give. He's biased. It really is all about Stephen A. It's Stephen A. If they were going to call the show something, they would call it, in my opinion, change it to the Stephen A. world. Because it's his world. It's his world on this show. I think that I don't know. I mean, somebody said something, Jemele Hill. She said, and I agree with this, I think this could have been handled like family, behind closed doors, before they gave him the thumbs down. Because if you keep in mind, for not the last few years, maybe for 2 years in a row, he went to the NAB convention, which no other national news outlet had done. He really embraced this organization. He does good things with HBCUs, and he does some good things. He's apparently he's setting up HBCU basketball to broadcast soon. That doesn't give him a pass to say what he said about women.
Right.
He has his opinion, but on the other hand, I say this about all entertainers, and we're going to get to the next entertainer in just a moment. Know your audience.
Right.
Know your bread and butter. And eventually it was coming. You know what I mean? The reckoning was coming.
Right.
And it came. Was it necessary? I think it was necessary. I just don't know if that was the right forum for it. It definitely got his attention. And I listened to the Cuomo interview in its entirety, and it hurt him because Cuomo, he's friends with Cuomo. He's friends with Sean Hannity. Those are his buddies.
Right.
And it says something about who he is,
Exactly.
That he said that they're his buddies, especially with what Cuomo is much more liberal than Sean Hannity.
Oh, Sean Hannity.
Cuomo is more independent. Sean Hannity ain't independent.
Right.
So for him to go to Sean was a bad look, in my opinion. Going to Cuomo may have been better. If I would have just gone to Cuomo. Because Cuomo's tight with Lemon. Cuomo, when he was on CNN, he was always kind of a down guy to watch.
Exactly.
And he said, I'll be honest, Cuomo was excellent. If you have a chance, here I am sitting in somebody else's show. But check out the Cuomo and Jemele Hill because it's telling. If you're I've been in the business, and I know that these guys are no longer really journalists. Rush Limbaugh was not a journalist.
No.
He was an entertainer.
Provocateur, yeah.
He went from being a top 40 DJ to what he became. He wasn't. He didn't have a journalist background. No, most of these guys, these talking heads who are talking politics, even Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity came from that background. Pop. I remember he was first here in Atlanta, WGST.
Okay.
So my whole point is in saying all that is, I think by saying now in a few weeks, Stephen A.'s going into the Hall of Fame. I'm not talking about the Black Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the Radio Hall of Fame.
Right.
14 years, #1 on First Take. Deserved.
Right.
But this hurt him. This really did because he honestly wants to be down. He wants to be with the cool kids. And the cool kids, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you, Howard?
It makes 100% sense. Yeah,
you can disagree.
No,
feel free. Because
I agree. I think he wants to be part of them, part of the cool kids.
And that's his people. His mom, his mom passed away. He wrote the book, talks about, his mom, loves his mom. I think he's got a sister. He's done a lot for black talent.
Right.
But dude, you can't say some of the things you say and not expect for there to be blowback. Look, I've said some things about certain people, but I kind of spread it evenly. The brothers get it and the sisters get it.
Right. Well, and if you said one time, we understand. But if you said the fifth time, now we think there's a problem. You have a problem with that.
And it's only women.
Right, exactly right. And only women that are in I say Democratic or liberal women, if you want, because there is room to say something about conservative women that's African American, but he didn't say anything about them. No. And then they always start out, they politicized it. Nobody said anything about politics until he brought it in. He's politicizing it.
Yeah, and I'll say this, and I'll throw it back to you for the last word. He's vulnerable right now. And the reason I say he's vulnerable, now he's got a $100 million deal. I'm not sure how many more years are left on that.
Right.
I think it is 20-something million a year. So it's like a 4 or 5 year deal.
Right.
They are looking closely at Pat McAfee.
Right.
Becoming the face of ESPN.
No, I agree with that. And I think it's kind of naturally the changing of the guard. You've run your course. Now we're starting to set up the next person. I think that's kind of a natural changing of the guard.
No, I think it's too soon.
You think it's too soon? Because Stephen A can't seem to maintain a co-host.
Well, he's only had one, and that was Molly. So now he's got a new one. You know what I mean? So give him the chance for change. So he had one.
I thought he had the guy out of New York one time that used to come on.
The different add-ons. I'm talking about really and truly First Take was Molly and Steve. And then they just kind of
but then they have what's the black guy name, this tight end who played for
he had Max on, Max Kellerman.
Right.
At one point, but Max,
Shay Shay. Didn't he have Shay Shay on there too?
Yeah, but Shay Shay did himself in, man. Oh. Need I remind you?
I got you. That's true.
Shay did himself in. That was not Stephen A. Not Stephen A. So I'll just say that he's still mid-50s. That's, as a sportscaster, hell, you got, what's his name? Pardon the interruption.
Those two dudes. But they are targeting men of a certain age, though.
Yeah, 70 plus. And those guys were sports journalists, but they become entertainers.
Exactly, you're right.
It's no different. Right. So my whole point is Stephen A. is an entertainer.
Yeah.
I take what he says with a grain of salt. I think I have said that I felt that politics would be his downfall.
Right. And I'm not sure why he's trying to cross over. Why is he trying to do that? I'm not sure.
Dude, do your podcast, maybe make some commentary. But who am I to say?
Yeah.
I'm on here talking politics. So. but
he was
anyway,
talking about
I ain't running. He's talking about running
for president and stuff like that. Come on, man.
I said, as soon as you start talking that way, you become a target.
Exactly.
And I think he put his own target on his back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think if Stephen A. were just being Stephen A., just talking sports, this wouldn't be as big as it is.
Right.
Or I don't think he would even have quite frankly, he wouldn't have said what he said.
Right. That's right. I agree.
I'm going to play the next situation. And this is, I'm just going to call him David O.
Mm-hmm.
I'm familiar with his work. He was Martin Luther King in Selma. He's done some other work as well. The majority of his projects, his work, has targeted black audiences.
Right.
He's done some movies that have been more general market, but for the most part, if you see his face, you'll know, hey, I saw him in a black movie. I saw him in a movie where there was maybe a black lead, or he was the black lead.
Exactly.
So let's play this. And well, first of all, he was on an African, I think it's 54, which, if you know the comedian Godfrey.
Right.
He was on with Godfrey, and they started talking about accents, because I think it came from the whole Drewski thing.
Yes, Drewski did it.
The Drewski skit doing the British actors taking roles. And this is what came out of it when they were talking about Southern accents. Now, you and I are from the South. ATL, Florida boy. So here we
Right.
go. All right. I'm going to get this queued up.
How about Southerner?
How about what?
A Southerner.
Well, if I'm being a Southerner, well, you know what? You know what happens to Southerners? If you take the Nigerian accent like this, and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
Man.
It goes because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
Now we are free again.
Now we are free. We are released.
Hey.
It was not a good look, man.
No, it wasn't.
First of all, your thoughts. I've heard it before.
Yeah, that was my first time hearing it, but I've read about it, and I think
what is hearing it? How does hearing it impact you?
Well, I didn't hear the Southern accent. If he was trying to get there, I don't think I heard it like I know Southern accents. You know what I mean?
Go ahead. I'll let you go.
Yeah, no, but I think the term subservient and slavery is what caused the issue. Man, I know people from the South who live up north, and they grew up north, once they moved up there, and their family, they still have a little bit of a touch of a Southern accent. That doesn't mean anything. Almost all the smart people I know are from the South.
Right, right.
So,
right.
but when you start using slavery and subservient in the conversation based on someone's accent, I think you're out of bounds 100%. Man.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Yes,
it was really stupid, and exactly. I don't know. I respect. Look, I'm on the music side, okay? And I've always respected the UK R&B artist.
Right.
Some of my favorite artists are from the UK. On the music side, it doesn't affect the music side as much because we're more collaborative. Okay.
Right. Okay.
And there's more opportunity. On the film side, there are limited opportunities.
Exactly.
I mean, you don't have a genre where there are genres, but you're still competing for limited roles.
Exactly.
So if I was competing in a situation, unless I knew I had a guaranteed hot role if I'm James Bond,
right?
Okay, right. I am the most popular James Bond ever, then I can go out there and talk shit all day. You know, but if I'm in a situation where I know I got to go back out and compete for another role,
right,
that ain't what I'm going to be saying.
Right.
Especially when you take a look at your audience. You and I were talking about, you got to know your audience, man. You got to know that black folks are watching.
Yes.
And the narrative is already out there. Look, I started this podcast over 10 years ago. Okay?
Right.
I remember when Samuel Jackson made the initial comment about UK actors coming in taking roles. And he walked it back a little bit, but he didn't completely walk it back.
Right.
He was the highest profile actor that I knew at the time to say something to that effect. And that was over 10 years ago.
Right.
This is not a new narrative. This has been out there for a long time.
Exactly.
So I don't know why he's so. What it shows me, he's out of touch.
Do you think he got caught up? Sometimes you get caught up in the moment and
I do. It's liable to come flying out at any moment. But I get it.
Because
I know. Look, I know where my bread is buttered, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. Because I'm sure it came from the back to the front of his brain rapidly to say, the people who spend money on my movies are the very people I'm talking about. So and even to say Southern, the Great Migration put Southern blacks all over the country. There's second and third generation people all over the country. So you're saying something about my grandmother or something like that. But I'm sure it rushed to the front of his mind after he said it. Or at least I hope it did.
Well, all I can say is his career. He's 50-year-old black, black diaspora.
Right.
It's gonna be tough.
Yes.
He's not gonna be cast in the next Black Panther.
Nope.
He won't be in the next what's his name? Jordan Peele movie.
Right. Right.
He's not going to, well, definitely, Tyler Perry ain't going to hire him. He won't be bringing him in.
Spike?
Idris will. Spike.
Yeah.
I mean, Idris is cool. Idris would never say that.
No.
Idris knows his audience.
Right.
And I just think he doesn't know his audience. He lost his audience. He doesn't understand who his audience is.
Yeah. I hope the apology was, I don't know, it seems sincere, but
it's too late.
The dollars is what's going to count. That's going to be the measuring stick.
Look, man, you are as good as your last movie.
You're right.
The thing that bothers me the most, and I'm not going to go off on a soapbox, but the problem I've always had, I've never really talked about the UK and Rolls situation.
Mm-hmm.
What I look at is Forbes. The problem is there's only one black actor on Forbes, and you know who it is.
Denzel?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been a woman on the black actors Forbes list in a long time.
Well,
and there are no black or UK black actors on. I haven't seen a UK black actor on Forbes ever.
Right.
Somebody, if you know, let me know, because they're not being paid typically. I don't know if there's a scale. I don't know I know that there's a strong union, but the problem is deeper than this.
Yeah.
And what I think this does is it takes the focus off where the focus should be.
Exactly.
The focus should be on the situation currently in Hollywood and why there's only one black actor on the Forbes list. And Adam Sandler's at the top.
Has he done anything lately? I don't even know.
Well, it's the Netflix stuff.
Yeah,
same thing with Marky Mark is on the list. You know? Yes. Reese Witherspoon's on the list, but Reese does production stuff. She does she's a company called Hello Sunshine. But the problem I have is it takes the focus off what we really need to be focused on.
Exactly right. Right.
Is roles and pay.
And scale. But wasn't that the argument that the UK actress was coming over taking taking roles at a lesser scale than what that was the argument.
That's going back again. I mean, this is nothing new. This is not I think people are saying, well, what Drewski did was new. No. Samuel Jackson was talking about this back in 2017.
Right.
2016.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is not a new argument, but I do think it takes the focus off what we should be talking about. And that's that's the lack of black roles.
Exactly. Yeah. And scale.
And scale.
And scale. And I don't know how you get more black roles unless you get more blacks that are producing and behind the camera stuff.
Well, and I'm not going to go on and on about this, but I do want to say this. We've got too many people who have succeeded in the past to not have built an organization to help these people help us come up.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing about this. Because you still, I'm not putting all the pressure on Denzel. I'm not putting all the pressure on Oprah or Tyler or the successful people in the industry. But one of the things I heard when we had Cinda Williams on a few weeks ago, was great. It's still crabs in a barrel.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's still very much, and that's sad because we're not getting anywhere.
And I think I heard that in her voice too when she was saying it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said it. She said we don't help each other.
Right, she said it, but I think it was emotional for her because I think she said she's missed out on some opportunities for various reasons, and that's one of the reasons why. Yeah,
it's very, very, very much crabs in a barrel.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's wrap it up. Do you have anything you want to wrap on?
I just want to say this is becoming the best part of the year. High school football starts. College football next week, NFL next week. October is probably the best time of the year. You got football, basketball, and baseball going on. So the fall is coming. I'm looking forward to it. And it's becoming the best time of the year for me, man. I appreciate it.
I'm just happy we won't be seeing pitchforks and 100 degrees.
That is going away.
Tired of the summer, bro.
Oh man, it's been warm the past few days. On top of that, too,
100 feel like.
Yeah. What did my boy? What did our boys send? 110 degrees.
No. So I love all that about the fall. Yeah. The fall is my favorite season. Do you have anything else? I do have to just say something. I want to get your opinion on. real quick.
Go ahead, I got you.
Okay, so it's football season. Dude, Tua, come on. You're about to lose your position to a guy who's been on injury, on IR. You're about to lose your opportunity.
The dude in Indy said he was horrific in the joint practices, man.
I just, and it goes back to what Tua said. It's a very wholesome thing to say. He said football is part-time.
Yeah.
It goes back to that. I think, I don't think he puts in over and above the effort the way a lot of these guys who fight for it and want it do.
Right.
I don't think he does. And quite frankly, I'm assuming he's made a lot of money from Miami.
Exactly. Yeah.
How much is that contract? How much?
Yeah, I can't remember, but I think it was over 100.
Okay, so he's got some money left due from that Miami contract.
Mm-hmm.
It might be time to just take, with his health, with concussions, take the money. Your family's everything to you, bro.
Exactly.
Go be with your family.
Yeah, go hold a clipboard, go coach, go do something like that. Yeah, I agree.
It's time to go do something, because when I saw him, I truly said to myself, this guy is not all in.
Yeah. Well, the statement says
he's not.
At that level, it can't be part-time.
No, it can't. Even if he's trying to give, I can understand you trying to give your family. You want to give your family, it's like, you want to put your family always first.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But when you're talking to football fans, you just don't say that.
You don't say that, right? But I think that's also part of the sacrifice when you get into that level of football. Like Kirby Smart. When Kirby Smart, coach, his family knows 9 months out of the year, 10 months out of the year, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take those 2 months and we're gonna go places and do things, and you got all my time. But after that, it's a full-time gig, and Nick Saban and anybody in that level or above. And to say it's part-time is concerning.
And you're receiving that kind of money, that kind of contract. I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back in Miami.
Yes, I agree.
So I think maybe we're seeing that, he's just like, I
heard the other day that if he don't do well here, no one else will pick him up. I seem to think, someone give him a backup job. I don't know, but he'll have limited choices if he don't do well here in Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And you sent me something that said if he doesn't do anything in 2 years, he'll be out of football.
Out of the league, yeah. That's exactly right.
He'll be out of football.
Yeah.
All right, man. And one more thing I do have to say, and I'll wrap on this, man. Really, prayers to the folks in Gary, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
This is just an atrocity. How can, you have near a major city,
right?
2 weeks with no power?
Yeah. And it's...
And Cinda had mentioned, Cinda is in that area, like Chicago.
Okay,
all around.
Right.
And I know it's been tough. They've been having, floods and tornadoes. And this was a tornado, 90? I don't know what it was. It was some kind of front that came through.
Thunderstorm and all, heavy.
90+ mile per hour winds.
Right.
Like a category 2 hurricane.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's odd that seem like, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the poorest areas, when they get hit, it takes forever.
Yeah.
I'm up in the the Buckhead area of Atlanta some often, and if the lights go out here, man, an hour later, jump back on, man.
Oh yeah,
they send all the trucks plus the trucks from Florida and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Gary, 2 weeks, that's ridiculous, man.
2 weeks is just it's an atrocity, man.
Yes, it is.
And during the summer when you've got elderly people,
hot. Yes. And you can request. Chicago is what, hour and a half away. You can send people. You can send trucks from there.
Get people out of there.
Yeah, man, get it going. So that is an atrocity.
I mean, it really is, and not to hear anything on the federal level. It's telling.
Good luck.
Know, but it's telling. I will say this: if Biden had been in office, we would have heard about the situation and there would have been a plan at least within a week.
Hey, Tom,
this kind of reminds me of Katrina.
That's what I was about to say. Remember New Orleans? I was just about to say that. Remember
how long
that?
was Katrina?
Oh, man.
They left the people out there, man?
It's too long in the Superdome and bodies floating down and
it's horrible.
And Bush flying over on a helicopter. Man, come on.
But I don't think people are aware of what's going on, and I just want to make sure I mention that. Yeah. If you're not aware, take a look at what's going on in Gary right now. It's been 2 weeks. These people haven't had no power.
Yeah, that's a good mention because I wasn't aware of it until you sent it to me as well.
Yep. All right, man. Hey, Howie, thank you so much, bro.
All right, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care of yourself. And don't say nothing stupid. Don't say anything.
I got David on the mind. I got you. Know your audience.
Thank you, Howie.
Yes, sir. Man. Take it easy, brother.
Big thanks, Hitman Howie, man. Two big things before we close. If you want to help with the situation in Gary, Indiana, go to gary.gov. That's gary.gov to find out how you can help those in need. Also, after our taping, we learned about the passing of actor Michael Wright. Now, the name may not be immediately familiar, but most of us knew him as Eddie Kane Jr., a member of the Five Heartbeats, Robert Townsend's legendary film. Michael Wright was 70. Don't forget our main destination, Spotify, but you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and many more. Very soon, we're going to be on Apple Video, so look out for that. Whether you watch or listen, make sure you follow us. Plus, turn on your notifications for new episodes. Big thanks to Vi, Tanya B, Talib Shabazz, Hitman Howie, Harold Michael Harvey, Lady J, and Millennial Nick for the G Podcast theme. As always, shout out to my text chain crew every Sunday night. Thanks for accepting the text. Keep sharing the weekly episodes. And with that, episode 325 is in the can, y'all. Peace and power to the people. Have a great week.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.